Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So in this video we're going to make the day to night earrings, which I've been promising for quite a while and haven't had a chance to make them. So this is the earring, and honestly this goes from day to night. I mean, this is day, and then at night I think I showed you it's when just a low light reflects off of these, they look like a completely different earring. So we're going to make the mate to this one. Okay, so this is the gray one, and the pair I have here that I've done already is the purple one. Okay, pretty? Okay, so for this, you're going to need, to make the mate to this gray one, you're going to need an oval-shaped faceted bead. Now this bead was in my stash, and it's kind of old, but I think you can get these anywhere. So I believe this is a 9x6 or 11. It could be an 11x6. I'm not sure. I'm going to measure real quick. I'm just going to measure how long it is. It's a little over a quarter. It's about 5/8 of an inch long, from top to bottom. It's a little bit bigger than the purple. I'm sorry, a little bit smaller than the purple. Just by 1/16 of an inch, but it makes, the earring is pretty much the same. So you're going to need that. You're going to need a head pin, which we're going to put right through the center of the earring and make a loop. You're going to need an ear wire, and this one is a sterling silver ear wire. You're going to need your handy dandy little pin with the ball at the end of it to put your work on, so it's easier to work. You're going to need the, as I call them, garishly gold, size 11 metallic 24 karat gold plated Delica beads. And the garishly gold beads are really necessary, or something like really, really sparkly. But in the colors I'm making it, the gold looks the best around the bead. So you'll need that. For this part here, you're going to need size 11 semi-matte transparent silver lined gray Delicas. So we're all in Delicas this time. Okay, so you're going to need that. You're going to need 6 Swarovski Bicones, or any kind of Bicone. I think you can use any kind of Bicone here. I use Swarovski just because I just always use Swarovski. And these are what are these called? I'm going to find out right now what they're called. Something midnight. Oh, darn. Okay, let me just check my Swarovski box. And they are called, here we go, they're Crystal Silver Night. I don't know why I forgot that. I use these so often. So these are 4mm Crystal Silver Night Swarovski Crystal Bicones. You'll need 6 of those. 2 for either end, and then the ones on the sides. Okay? What else? I think that's it. Oh, you're going to need a size 10 beading needle. Right there. You're going to need some 8-pound Fireline, which I have here. Okay, so there are your materials. So why don't you get them all together and we'll get started. Okay, we're back. So I've got my materials together. I've got my Bicones, I've got my gold beads, I've got my silver beads, I've got my oval bead, my beading needle, I've got some 8-pound Fireline. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and I'm going to flatten out the tip of my thread, because it is impossible to thread these needles with round Fireline, because you're essentially threading round thread into a nearly flat eye of the needle there. So I've got that. Takes away a lot of frustration. Pull that down a little bit. got about a little less than a wingspan. I'd say an arm span and a half. You can do a wingspan. That might, that will probably do both of them. So take your little oval bead. Let's go through the bottom. It's like we're putting a stop bead on. Pull the thread through. Now it's small at the moment, but we'll get it there. But small tail, 4 or 5 inches is enough. Come around the bead, come up. Just like you would put a stop bead on. Let that come to the side of your bead. Go around again, come up through the bottom. Pull that thread through. So now you have 2 threads on the side of your bead. I know it's hard to see with these beads, but I wish I had a matte bead to show you on, but I don't have one, so we'll get there. Okay, so now turn it around to the other side. You're coming out, your thread's coming out here. Come around. Pull your needle through. Now you've got a thread on that side. Okay, come around. Pull your needle through again. You've got 2 threads. Okay, so what you end up with is this this oval bead. You've got 2 threads on one side of it and 2 threads on the other. Okay, I think you can sort of see that. And that's going to be what our beads are going to be woven onto, are the threads on the side of this bead. Okay? So here's the top. I try so desperately hard to stay in frame. That's what my little bead, my little pin is there for. Take 2 of the gold delicas. Come through the back, hold your bead, come from the back to the front under those 2 threads of the one side of the bead and pull. Now come up the second bead. Pull that into place. Now you're always going to have, when you start a row, this wonky bead here, but it's going to straighten out once we're done with the row, with going around the bead. You'll see. Okay, now you just pick up 1 delica, come back, from back to front, under the string, under the two threads, and then up your bead. So we're brick stitching around a component. We've done this before. If you want to look at the spring fling earrings, you can. It's a longer video. I think you're going to learn just as much by just looking at this one. Probably more. That one was really long. Okay, so you're coming from the back to the front, behind those threads, and then up. Like so. So I've got 4 beads on. We want 6. I counted the beads on the first earring, and I've got 6 delicas on either side. So we're up to, this is number 5. Go under both threads from the back to the front, go up that delica. Okay, so now you have 5 on. Let's put our last one on, back through the 2 threads from behind, come under, and then up through the bead you just put on. That's brick stitching. Okay, so now you have 6 beads, and I just want to put this one, I just want to make sure that they're all sitting nicely in line. It looks like they are. You can wiggle with them a little bit, so I can move this one a teeny bit. You kind of play with them a little bit, sometimes to get them all in a row, but that looks pretty good to me. So we have 6 beads on. So according to our earring, after the 6th bead, we need to put on a bicone. Okay, so let's take a bicone. This is our tail. Let's get our tail out of the way. And you're going to take your bicone, and you're going to come either in front or on the other side. of the hole. The hole in the bead is right there. So this is where a pin's going to come in. So we're going to do the same exact thing with the bicone. We're going to brick stitch it on just like we did the others. But you see what happens? How it becomes like a little wonky and crooked? This is where I put the bead, the pin in. And what the pin does is it straightens everybody out. See? So you don't want it too racked out, but there you go. Okay? So now you've got your first bicone on. Now you're just going to continue on with your delicas. And now you have something to hold on to. You have that little pin. But we have to move it in and out periodically so we can, get through the beads. So we're going to take a delica. Okay. Going to go back behind the two threads. I'm going to pull that delica in place. So at this point I'd say, here, and go up, take a look, and when you put it on, see how it is, how close it is to the other one. Is it similar? I'd say it's pretty similar. Okay? So there you go. You've got your next delica on. Another delica, back to front, up, the only thing with the pin is you do get caught on it periodically, but I find that it just makes a huge difference having that pin to hold everything in place. So I see my tail is caught a little bit. So there we go. Pull that one in place. Okay, so you get the picture? So put on 6 more, or 6 altogether, until we get to the bottom over here, and we'll go from there. So stop after your 6th, and then we'll put on the next bicone together. Okay, we're back. So I've got my 6 delicas on. Okay, and so now I'm going to put on, if we look at the earring, we have, there we go, another bicone to put on. So let's put on the next bicone. So take your bicone. This is where you pull the pin in and out. Okay, so I'm just going to take the bicone and I'm going to come under these 2 threads on the side, and this is where we're going to get that wonky bead, that wonky first bead straightened out a bit. So come up. So you're just brick stitching that bicone on, and you want to, at this point, if it's not sitting straight, just put it straight. Okay, but at this right now you've got to get that wonky bead straight. So you've got to come down the wonky bead under the threads, because that one isn't really attached, and then you're going to pull the pin down a bit and come through that bicone. Okay, you're going to pull that tight, and that almost pulls right into place actually. So pull that nice and tight, and that's what you have. Okay, this is where the pin is so handy. I just think it's, otherwise I wouldn't be able to do it. Okay, so let's look at our earring. Let's compare. So we have, let me straighten it out. We have 2 bicones, and we have the 6 delicas around each. So it looks like we need to go and put on some silver delicas. So let's count them. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put on 4, and then we're going to do this little side guy here. All right. So let's just take it one step at a time. So now we're going to go, and we're going to grab the matte delica beads, the matte semi-matte transparent silver. Okay, so 2 of those, because we're starting a new row. We're going to come under the thread that is coming out, Oops, got a little knot going on there. Let's see if we can get rid of that. Okay, let me straighten that knot out and I'll come right back. Okay, we're back and I got my knot out. So I've taken two. Let's see, make sure I have two. Pull these down. Okay, let's grab another one. Because we want to do two to begin with. So we're going to take two of the gray Delicas and we're going to come through. I just want to make sure you can see that. Through the thread that's on the side of that bicone. I'm going to pull. I'm going to go up the second one. And again, we're going to have that first wonky bead, but that's totally normal. So if I put my needle here, just to show you, you see how that's going to straighten out when we add the next bicone. Alright, so here we have two. So I'm going to look at our other earring again. Okay, so we have on two, we're going to add another one. We're going to put that through the first thread bridge right there. And up you go. Pull. That's three. Go through the next thread bridge. Up. Bead. Okay, that's four. Okay, so now at this point, we want to put a bicone on the side. Is that clear? Not yet. Now it's clear. Okay, so we're going to put that bicone on. So pick up a bicone. Come here, you. And we're going to go through the next thread bridge right there on the side, just like as though it was a Delica. And we're going to go through, bring it through the thread bridge and up through the bead, and you're going to pull it. And that's going to put your first bicone on the side, okay? That went on pretty well, actually. Okay, so now we're going to look at this. I'm going to make sure that we're doing well. I think we are. Okay. So then we're going to take our needle and we're going to go back to the little silver Delicas. Go through the next thread bridge. Go up. Pull. So now you have your next Delica on. Take another Delica, go through the next thread bridge, go up the bead you just put on. We're just plain brick stitch a round up component. It's two, okay. I'm going to take another Delica. We're going to go through the next thread bridge, which is kind of at the end of that crystal. See? Okay. I'm going to pull. Go up. Come on, you. Now don't get caught on your little bead like I do, okay? I'm getting indentations from holding it so tightly. So that's number 3. I'm going to actually pull my pin out and I'm going to put it through the other side because it's kind of bugging me sitting there. So I'm going to need that space in a second. So that's 3. Take another Delica. You're going to go through the side of the bicone, the thread that's on the side of the bicone. That's 4. Go up that Delica. So now you have your 4 on either side. See? So that's coming out really well. So what do we do next? Okay, so let's put these together. Okay, so now it's time to add our second bicone. All right, so just keep your tail out of the way. Pick up a bicone. Come. Now this is just a little, wonky here, but just do it. You can do it. Put that bicone on, like so. Don't worry about it. Just go up through the bicone. It will straighten itself out and pull over. And just pull your little pin through. See? And then just give it a tug. And it kind of sits everybody in place. You can even move it over a little bit. You can, there's like a little teeny bit of wiggle room here. Okay, so now you've got another bicone on, right? Now I would like it to sit a little bit closer that way. But it's, beads are no beads, 2 beads are the same, so that's the way it wants to sit. I'm going to let it sit that way. I want the earrings to come, all of this really sort of picky stuff is just in the effort to get the earrings the same. Or to become sisters, not twins. And I attribute that to one really very sweet viewer who said that to me because I was so upset about my earrings, not looking the same. I'm going to put this at a camera view. Okay, so all right, we've got our second. So thank you for saying that because that made me feel so good. So we've got our second bicone on. All right, so now we have to repeat this side over here. So we're going to take 1, Delica, and we're going to come through, because remember, we're not starting a new row yet. We're just doing the other side of the same row, so we don't need to put 2 on. Okay, so if I'm looking, oh, sorry about that. Oh, I'm so sorry. That's my camera's on an arm that is not really all that stable. So occasionally my nose hit at that time. So anyway, it's a little space here, but not here. I'm going to just take my needle and pull it. Try to sort of even out the space a little bit. That's why these are not really beginner tutorials, because they're a little, you have to really look at it and see, is it, is my space good? It's not going to be perfect. They're going to be sisters. Okay, so we've got 1 on. Take another Delica. Go through that thread bridge. Pull. That's 2. Okay. So I'm going to pull these just a little bit down. I don't care if I have space. You're not really going to see it. The thread shows a little bit in these earrings. It's just part of it. Take number 3. I'm going to go through that thread bridge there. I'm going to pull. I'm going to go up. Okay, take number 4, go through the next thread bridge. My thread just wants to knot today. Okay, got that one out pretty quickly. That's number 4. So get number 4 on. Okay, so let's take a look. How do we look? Looks pretty good. Now it's time for another bicone. So pick up a bicone, go through the next thread bridge. Okay, that's right between these 2 beads here. Pull that bicone through. Don't worry about it not sitting straight yet. We're going to play with it. Let's put it on. Perfect. Whoops. It's looking pretty good. Okay. I'm going to take another gray bead, silver, Delica, go through the next thread bridge. See? So secure that. And pull up. Okay, so let's take a look. How we looking? There's that gray bead looking good. Pull this a little bit. Play around with it. That looks pretty good. Alright, so let's keep going. So why don't you finish the last 3 beads till you get to here, and then we'll add the next bicone together. Okay, we're back. So I added the last 3, and I think we're looking pretty awesome right now. So now we're going for the next bicone. It's the last bicone we're going to add. So take your bicone. I want that to clear up a little bit. Okay. And come to maybe the other side of the crystal. So I've got my little pin in there. So I'm just going to move the pin down for a second. I'll put that on. I know it looks all wonky at the moment, but we'll straighten it out. Oops. Okay. Okay, so pull that on, and let's just get it on our pin. Okay. So there we go. Give it a pull. I pulled my pin up. That looks awesome. I mean, that's coming out really good. So now that we're starting a new row, we have to go through the wonky bead. Remember this little wonky one we put on the beginning? So go through that. Go through the threads underneath. Just pull it through. And then pull your pin down a bit and get up your crystal. I know this is picky stuff, but you're going to end up with like the most awesome looking earrings. I'm telling you, they're so pretty. When you wear them, people comment on them when they see me. And I'm not complimenting myself. I'm just saying I just happen to love this style, that's all. Okay, so that's looking actually a lot better than I thought. So, all the work we did on the original pair, the Spring Fling, has really paid off because it's making this one come out great. Okay, so now all we have to do is we have one more row of Delica beads to put on, of the silver. And one thing I forgot to mention, we need a sterling silver or silver plated ear hook, which I didn't put out. So I'm using this type right there. So I'll pull one of those out when time comes. So now we're going to take 2, because we're at the beginning again, 2 Delicas. I'm going to come through the thread that's on the side of that crystal. So I'm trying to keep myself in frame here. Come up and pull. Again, here's our wonky bead. Let's make sure he's in the right place. And he is. Okay, take another. So let's count. Actually, we didn't do our counting on this side. So on this side, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's start with 6. So that's 1, 2. Go to the thread bridge for number 3. Oops. Oh, I got stuck around my pin. There are dangers to using the pin. Okay, let me get out from under the pin and then we'll be right back. Okay, my knot's out. I don't know why I'm knotting so much right now. It's funny, this Fireline that I bought at the sporting goods store, and I noticed that it breaks and it knots a lot. So I'm thinking that, I don't know, maybe we need to rethink the sporting goods store. Okay, so I've got our 3 beads on. I'm going to go through this thread bridge. This is kind of a funny side because you have to get around that crystal, and no 2 beads are alike, so hopefully we'll be able to get it to where everybody looks even enough. Okay, so that's 4. Go through the next thread bridge. Up. That's 5. The Delica. The next thread bridge. That's 6. Okay, so now let's look at the other earring really quick. Put this there. Wait for that to clear up for a second. Okay, so I'm counting from here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3. Looks like 4 are going around. Sorry about that. It sort of like slopes a bit. So let's shoot for 4 around the bicone. So we've got 6 on. And then we're going to go through, because there's no thread bridge here. The thread bridge is just around the crystal. So we're going to go 1. Oh, it's my nose again. And up. It's 1. Let's go for number 2. 2. Go 4. 3. Pull these. I'm just going to move it over just a teeny bit. Don't pull too tight. You don't want to break the thread. And let's do one more. This might take an extra one down the side. Come on, you. He's fighting me. There's 4. I think we're going to need, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep, let's put one more. Okay, down at the bottom here, because there's a big space. So, I think our bead count is still the same. They're just, you just have to make sure you get it down around. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so there you go. Now come down and around and meet me, because you can do this part. Well, maybe meet me right here so that we can get around here without a problem. If you think you can go all the way around, go ahead. But I'll come back when I get to here just to check in. All right. Okay. So we're back at the top. And what I'm going to do here is I've pulled my pin down a little bit. I'm going to pick up a Delica. And I'm going to come to the other side of this crystal. And that Delica, hopefully, is going to sit right in the middle where my pin is coming out. Wouldn't that be nice? And it did. Okay, so there you go. Let's look at the other one. That looks about right. Let's come down the other side. So now, come down and around this crystal and meet me at the top here and we'll close it off. Okay, we're back. I hope it's okay leaving you on your own. I hope you just went around. Just try to somewhat duplicate the other side. We're going to put our last bead on. We're just going to go right here. I'm just going to get under those threads. I'm going to go up. Second, and that's in a good spot. Before I do anything, I'm going to go down the wonky bead, grab some of the thread underneath, like so. Okay, pull that wonky bead up, pull this one. Okay, I'm going to push my little pin, because this is a little crooked. So let's see if we can get that pin through there. I think we can. Okay, how do we look? Look pretty good. Okay, so at this point, you know, if you want to play with your beads a little bit, maybe pull, you know, stack them together a little bit. I think that's pretty nice. You know, you can pull these down a little bit and straighten them out, and you move that one up a teeny bit. Now that comes out pretty good. Okay, so our earring is done. So now we're going to put the head pin in. Now, I'm using a 24 gauge sterling silver head pin. I think a 22 gauge would be good too. But before we do that, let's just get rid of our thread here. So I'm just going to come down that side bead, okay, and I'm just going to wind my way around a bit. Maybe come up. Let's see, I'm coming out of that bead, go up. Can you still see me? Okay, sorry about that. Maybe go up this bead. I'm just going to sew around a little bit just so I can get rid of my thread. Come down. Maybe the next bead. Maybe I'll sew through one in this inside there. So you're just sort of reinforcing and, you know, getting rid of your thread. Let's see. Am I going to show thread if I go up there? We'll see. Okay, I'm going to go up. So I went up that one. Okay. And I sort of came out the other side. So I'm just going to turn it around. It's hard to see these beads there. Just going to go up. Let's see, where am I coming out? That one, go up this one. Just snake your thread around a little bit, like you would with any brick stitch project or peyote, because they're so very similar. You just want to come, you know, down, reverse direction a couple of times, and then I think at that point you can probably cut it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, hopefully that will clear up while I find my thread burner. Come on, you. Come on. Oh. Okay. So I'm just going to burn, first I'm going to burn off the tail that I could have taken off ages ago. Tail's gone. Now I'm going to just going to burn off. You can cut this and burn it later. You can glue, put a little glue there. I'm going to just burn that off right there. It's gone. I'm going to put my thread burner back. So here's our earring. Let's take a look. We haven't done the head pin yet, but let's just take a look and see how they look. Whoops. Hey, I think they look great. All right, so let's take out the safety pin, the straight pin. Thank you, straight pin. You've been a great help. And let's get the head pin up there. I really think you can use a, as I said, you can use a 22 gauge. I think the 24 is a little small. Okay, we're done. My battery quit on me, but we got it done. There's the one. There's the other one. They look pretty good together. They're the purples. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you make it, and I hope you take your time and have lots of fun and, you know, really learn the skill. It's quite a skill to do this. I'm still learning it after trying to do it for many years. It's difficult, but every time I do it, they come out better. So enjoy your new earrings. Post pictures on Facebook, like me on Facebook, leave comments, and I'll see you on the next video.